Hi, my name is Andrew Buckland. I play a narrator and several characters in the show. Apart from the narrator, there are three narrators, and they, in a way, they are characters in that they're really the link between the story. They take J.M. Coetzee's language and really makes it available to the audience. But at the same time, I play small characters in a train queue that fill out the world that Michael inhabits. And often it displays people that respond to him in different ways. You know, people are horrified by his hair lip, or they're not.
I am Rashina Ratnam. I am a head puppeteer and other various puppet people and characters in the show. Yeah, for me, playing Anna Kay is wonderful. I always talk about being a puppeteer. We create the character together. There's several layers to it. There is the voice of Faniswa, who makes emotional choices and performs, and then I come along and put a physical kind of manifestation of what she chooses. And Fefe, who's our feet, creates the ground upon which she walks and the weight which she walks with. And so all of us are constantly, Basil from Handspring talks about puppeteers authoring the show as they perform. And for me, that feels very much a real thing to me. Style is based loosely on a Japanese style of puppetry called bunraku puppetry, and so it takes three manipulators to work together to manipulate, in this case, a human puppet. And so we communicate through breath. We have go breaths, and impulses, and so before anything happens, you'll see somebody pull back, and a go breath will go before an action takes place. And so because we can't talk to each other on stage, or we're not supposed to, sometimes we do. Get out of my way. But which is the delight of it. So for me, I always talk about it's a very personal experience. When it's working beautifully, which it does for me in the show with my team, on our team that creates Anna Kay, it goes into almost a sacred space, because you're watching from the corner of your eye, because you're watching the puppet, but I have to know what the person on my side is doing and what the person below me, I can feel them. Everything becomes incredibly heightened. Every breath that is taken, every move that is made is channeled by all three of us. And so that's how we work together and make it work as one. So this particular mechanism has a ball and a ring in it. So there's a handle which you hold, the handle which is the weight of the puppet is on it. You put your ring, or I do, and my ring goes in here. And this ring moves up and down, which makes the puppet go like this. And these two fingers move the head from left to right, like that. So that is how you basically move. And the rest position of the puppet is this. So you're constantly, in order to make the puppet alive, you're constantly in action with your finger. And after 2 hours, as I'm sure Craig will attest to, it can be, because this is not a natural thing for your finger to be in this position for 2 hours and moving consistently. So, so that's how, for me, if you watch Craig and Michael Kay in the show, the incredible detail literally comes from some string, a ring, and a little wooden ball.
Hi, I'm Craig Leo, and I manipulate the head and the right arm of Michael Kay. I think the difference is that the actor works here, and the puppeteer needs to transfer that into a piece of wood, for example, or an object. So you still have to feel the emotions, understand the movement, analyze the movement, and then you have to transfer it into a foreign object. So there is a shift there that has to happen that I think with acting doesn't happen. You know, the acting, physical theatre, you're in your body, that's the tool. Our tool is this beautiful carved puppet that we're given to work with. Rashina touched on, which is essential, is breath, because it's something that links all of us to life, breath. So we place the breath into the puppet. So we will breathe with it. We breathe together, but the puppet also breathes. And then the thing that I like to try and do is to try and see through the puppet's eyes. I look at him, and I imagine looking through his eyes at the world. And so I can then take in information through those eyes and respond with a puppet rather than with my body. There's a little bit of, you'll see, we do animate ourselves to some degree on stage. You'll see us it's impossible to let it go completely. But I try to channel through the eyes and the breath. And then because they're wood and they don't have expressions, there's some information, there's residual information in our bodies that the audience, they flick between the puppeteer and the puppet to get all of the information, both emotional and content-based information. You are part of the acting, and the gorgeous thing about working with a bunraku puppet is that normally you'd have an actor, if an actor's working, they play the character, right? With a 3-person puppet, you've got 3 people all feeding information into one character. So it's a very layered, very rich product that you end up with, something that is unique in a way. You've got 3 human beings that are operating one puppet, and we all have different histories, different pasts, different responses to the story, and we bring that to the character. So even though we are separate entities, when we channel it and we fuse it and send it into the puppet, it becomes one thing. Yeah, there's also another very interesting dynamic to puppetry, which most people, I don't think they realize, is you think you're controlling the puppet, right? Because you've got this thing and you've got controls and you're moving it. But it very often is the other way around. They're unpredictable. They don't behave in exactly the same way every time. So even though you have an objective, you want to walk from here to there, you may find that the weight or the control is not sitting in your hand properly, so you have to change what you're doing. So you're actually in service of the object rather than the other way around. So there's always this dialogue of like, who's in control here today? Is it the puppet or me? And that's a very interesting thing. So I often find that when I try too hard to control him, to give him to force it to do something, it's often a less successful, the outcome is less successful. If I let go a little bit more, allow him to move. He's got his own weight, his own balance, his own joints. You work loosely. You don't grip onto the puppet. You hold lightly and let the puppet move, and so it moves you as well. So there's a very beautiful dialogue that happens between the object and the manipulator.